Good, pretty solid work on yesterday's assignment. I think we got something going with these videos here. It's helping a lot. Okay, from what I've seen as results. You need to simplify that expression. Now you're basically doing the same thing you did yesterday because as a class we're kind of working on the same stuff. So you did well yesterday. There's one thing that I need to point out, but by and all and large you did well. Okay, so when I multiply expressions, okay, I like to think of it first. I make a no, that isn't going to work. I'll use this hideous orange marker. I make a radical. Take 8, and by the way, these are 2's. If you don't see it, it's a 2. So anything, so I put a 2. 8 times 40 is 320, okay? Okay, then the next part, what I do is I come over here on this side. Yeah, it's kind of a 3-step process essentially. So that's step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, multiplying and dividing radicals is. Step 2, I just come over here, over to the side, okay, and I check my square root list, because these are, remember, I'm on this big list if it's a 2. So I go up here and I start dividing. So 320 divided by 225, nope, I know it's kind of a boring process. 320 divided by 196, nope. Divided by 169, nope. Divided by 144, nope. 320 divided by 121, nope. 320 divided by 100, nope. Boring. Yeah, it is, I'll admit. 320 divided by 64 is 5. Finally, I got it. Cha-ching. Okay, so I make 2 radicals, okay? So I put a 64 first and then a 5, okay? Just like that. Now we always delete the first square root because that's what it's equal to. It's equal to 8. Okay. So on step 2, all I do is put the radical 2. Now remember the 8 goes outside, the 5 goes inside. And step 3 I don't need it because there's not anything that would be outside. I just have one big number outside, one big number inside. That's as far as we can simplify it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So with the square roots, remember those are second. So what I first want to do is make a square root and take 3 times 27. Okay. It's 81. Okay. Now about the 2 and the 6, we'll multiply those 2 and we'll get 12. Okay. So actually on step 2, I'm going to make my radical with 2, and there's a 12 outside of it, okay? So again, I should have probably done that here, okay? It'll be just a 12 outside of it. So I find what the square root of 81 equals, okay? So 81 is a perfect square. It's equal to 9. So I don't need to do the dividing, okay, like I did right there. I can write equals 9 right off the bat, okay? Now, here's what you do with the 9. It's important to know what you're going to do with the 9. Like, would you put it in? Would you put it out? Where would you put it? When it's dead on the money on the sheet, when you get it on your sheet, that 9 goes outside, okay? You put a times 9 next to your 12. Actually, a 12 in the front. It'd be 12 times 9. Now, you're like, well, what do I put inside? Nothing, okay? Nothing at all. You just are going to remove the radical from the problem. And in the answer, you just take 12 times 9. Okay? That's all you have to do. That's 108. So you're not going to have a radical. Okay? Don't need one. Okay, next problem. Again, same thing. It's kind of a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So first thing, I take 3 times 2, that's going to be 6. Then I make a cubed root this time, and I take 5 times 50. Okay, I got 250. So in the next step, I just bring down the 6, okay, and I'll put a 3 next to it, a radical 3. Now what I need to do is bring the radical 3 over 250 off to the side. Okay, and I'm on my cubed root list. So 250, I would divide, it's not here, so I can't put equals. I need to divide it and then rewrite it into two separate. You're like breaking it up. So 250 divided by 216 doesn't work. Divided by 125, cha-ching. Okay, so I put 125 and 2. Okay, so the cubed root of 125 is replaced with 5. Now remember what I do with that 5, I put a little times 5, that goes in the front, that 5 does. Okay, we'll put that in the front, and then that 2 stays inside. Okay, the second one always stays inside. Then the last step, I take 5 times 6, it's going to be 30. So 30 with a radical 3 over 2. So again, we bring that outside. If there's already a number there, you just add a multiplication dot and then that number. Okay, and then here you put 2. Then the third step's needed just to multiply outsides. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So the radical is a 4, and inside I have 27 times 6. Okay, so that's going to be 162. So I don't have a big number outside. Okay, it's not the 4. The 4 is the radical. Okay, so I just drop my radical 4. I don't put anything outside, and then I bring the radical over here. And this time I'm using my 4th root, so 162 falls in that space there. I start dividing 162 divided by 81. Okay, so 81 and 2. Okay, so the 4th root of 81 is actually 3 because 3 times 3 times 3 is that. So remember that 3 goes out. If there's not a number there, we'll just set a 3. Okay, and then that 2 goes in. And then we don't need step 3 because I'm left with one number in, one number out. That problem is finished. Now pause the video and do 1 through 4 on the assignment. Okay. One thing also, refer to your notes because look at this problem, relook at this problem. Here I took 2 times 6, I got 12, 3 times 27 is 81. So I dropped the 12, made a square root. But when I did 81, I came to the realization that 81's on that list and it's equal to 9. So I replace that with 9, okay? And that 9 comes outside with the 12 and there's nothing inside. So it's just 12 times 9, which is 108, and I don't have a radical. Okay, pause this video and do 1 through 4 on the assignment, and then you got 2 more, which I resume the video. Okay, example 5, okay? These are going to be a lot easier, okay? So first I make just a remember these are 2's if you don't have them. Now I'll divide 500 by 5. This time I'm dividing, so I divide 500 by 5 and I get 100. Okay, now I'll drop that down. Now, to know what goes out, what goes in, well, let's take this over here, 100. And we're on the big list because it's a 2, and that's equal to 10. So, cha-ching, it equals 10. I don't need to do the divide. And when that comes out as 10, that goes outside. Now, you're like, well, what do I put in the inside? Well, the inside's going to be empty, okay? Which means my answer is just 10. I don't need the radical. Okay, 10's the answer. Don't put a radical if your inside's empty. Okay. Okay, these are degrees of 2. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Okay. Okay, drop the radical. Nothing outside it, so I don't need to put a big number in front. Now I try to simplify 16. I'm going to look at my sheet for that. Oh, 16's on here. It's 4. So when that happens, the 4 is now out here. Okay, and what's on the inside? Nothing. It's empty. Okay, actually you can just cross it out if it's empty, and the answer is 4. Okay. pretty straightforward here, okay? 250 divided by 2 is 125, okay? So now I drop my radical, put the 3 in the index, and I'm going to try to put some of this out. Maybe some of it's left in, okay? Depending on what the sheet looks like. Let's do that. 125 is here, so the cube root of 125 equals 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Okay, so that 5, remember what we do with that when that happens, that 5 is placed outside and the inside's empty. It's deleted, so 5. Okay, so cubed root, that's going to be 8. Drop the cubed root. Don't have anything going on outside yet. Q8, I'm getting lucky, man. Cube root of 8's 2. Okay, so once again, that 2's outside. Okay, when that happens, when I just see it boom, then that number's outside and the inside's empty. Okay. Okay. You ready to do 5 and 6? Again, you're kind of doing the same thing as yesterday, because as a class, we're kind of doing the same thing as yesterday.